Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is kind of special because I'm doing my first voiceover with my speed build. So I kind of learned out there being in the like out on Reddit and stuff that people prefer the voiceovers to the music, which I don't blame them since we have a limited choice of music, I should say, without being copyrighted, so the music isn't always great. So we're going to do a voiceover today. So today, for my first voiceover, I'm doing my Red Modern Starter. I made this build specifically for two Sims that I downloaded from the gallery. I made them in the game to actually be friends with my fake Sue and Brent, which is what I call me and my boyfriend in the game, because we're real Sue and Brent and they're fake Sue and Brent. I made him to be actually a good friend of our family, and it's kind of an inside joke because it's Father John Misty, and if you don't know who Father John Misty is, then you should definitely go check him out because he's awesome. He's a really good musician, and so him and his wife were on the gallery, and that's what I love about the gallery because I'm not very good at making Sims. I feel like I'm pretty good at making houses. I have a lot to learn still, but making Sims, especially if I'm trying to make them look like somebody, I'm really bad at it. So I always go to the gallery for that kind of stuff because you can find anything on there. But anyway, so I wanted to make a house that looked a little older, a little more traditional on the outside, but was very modern on the inside. Because I feel like where I live, that's kind of how houses are, because I live in a neighborhood that most of the houses were built in the 50s and 60s, but they all look super modern on the inside, but they look very, I guess, out of date on the outside, but I still think that they're cute. So that's the type of house that I was making. I knew I wanted it to be a small house, 1 or 2 bedrooms. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to fit in the house at the time when I was kind of making the outside, but I knew it wasn't going to be any more than 1 or 2 bedrooms. So with the outside, I knew I wanted it to be red. I knew that this was the style of house that I was going for. I only use Google Images for references on what I'm looking for. I don't copy them like exactly. So this is just from a reference I found, and I did most of the stuff on my own. I just need it for the roofing because I'm not very good at roofing unless I see a reference, and so seeing it really helped. And now I'm kind of doing the landscaping here, which for some reason landscaping always gives me some trouble because I'm always not quite sure what to do, and I like to raise my foundation up, which I know is kind of a rookie move because it's so hard to get the landscaping to fit correctly when you've got the foundation up. So a lot of the times I'm moving it up and down and getting really frustrated, and I know that a lot of people wait until the end to raise their foundation, but I don't know, I just like to see what it looks like with the foundation up, so I always go back and forth. So I kind of just did some easy landscaping because it's kind of a smaller lot. I knew I wasn't going to do a pool or anything like that. I'm like, I just need a couple trees, something to just make it look good. And I always make my own chimneys and then stick the real chimney in there. At this time, I actually had a plan to put a fireplace in the house. If there's one thing you know about my builds, I put chimneys on every build, whether I put a fireplace in or not. And I think at this point I was kind of thinking I was going to put a fireplace in here, but in the end I didn't. So right now I'm working on the floor plan. I always start with the stairs. Stairs are so hard when the upstairs is smaller than the downstairs, which is most of the time. It's so hard to find a place to put the stairs. But I am actually end up moving them from where they are now, and I'm really happy with where they went. So the fact that we can turn and curve our staircases has really helped a lot with making floor plans. It can make the stairs fit in such a smaller, more condensed spot, and I can't believe that we ever lived without that. The next step would be probably to get spiral staircases or ladders so that we could have our little tiny living builds and make lofts. That would be amazing. So anyways, this is where I ended up moving the stairs to, and I am happy with the placement. I was able to actually fit a small bathroom upstairs and a bedroom. I almost always put 2 bathrooms in a house that's more than 1 level because time is kind of odd in The Sims. You know, walking upstairs to use the bathroom might take a couple hours, so I always want at least a toilet on every floor if it's more than 1, just to save time. And so what I think I ended up doing was a half bath upstairs and a full bathroom downstairs. Well, not a full bathroom. There's not a tub. There's just a shower. But I wasn't planning on having kids in this house, and that's the only time I really ever want a tub so that you can bathe the toddlers. So here I am, I think, still fiddling with the upstairs. So during this build, you're going to see that the roof is clipping through the top, and I was a little bit worried about the fact that it was going to be clipping when I was playing, but I can assure you, if you download this house, it does not clip through when you're playing. It looks totally fine, even with the walls half up. It's only when you're building. So back when I did this one, because my builds are always way behind, I've become much better at building, and one of the things that I did is I made a second save file just for building, and I actually will put a sim on the lot right away, and I will test things as I'm building them. If I'm not sure it's going to work, I just do it live, because it's so much easier than building the whole house and then moving a sim in and then doing all the things, testing the sink, testing the oven, testing the fridge, all that kind of stuff. It's just so much easier to just do it as you are building. So the thing with the kitchen is that I always pick out the same countertops, the same cupboards, because I always want like an ultra modern thing, and I end up using the same ones all the time. So I really try to use different stuff in my builds, and this was one of those times, and I love the way it turned out. Sometimes you just have to stick, get away from your comfort zone, what you really prefer, because it kind of ends up looking nice in the end. So currently on my builds, I edit out the bathroom every time, unless it's a bigger house where I put a bathroom in that maybe is actually special with a tub and all this stuff. But these basic bathrooms I now edit out of my builds, my speed builds, because they're all the same and they're kind of boring, and I don't really care about bathrooms. So we're moving on to the back entry area and the dining room. I knew I just wanted a small table. I love those chairs. I use those chairs in so many builds with different colors. I absolutely love them, and I wish I had them in real life. So the backyard isn't great, but I do like these little French doors that go out to the back patio. I think I might actually add a back area onto this house. Now that I'm looking at it, I should really do that, make the backyard a little better, spruce it up a little bit. So we're in the living room, and I did not put a fireplace in, even though I always put chimneys in my house, and it does kind of bother me that when you have the walls half down, you can see into the chimney, but it doesn't bother me that much. I'm sure there's probably a mod or something out there that will stop that from happening, but I don't use any of that stuff in my game. My game is totally vanilla, no mods, no CC, even though I look at people's custom content that they put in their games, and oh my gosh, some of you guys have some amazing stuff out there. But I had a bad experience, and I know it was in The Sims 2. It was so long ago, but I completely destroyed my Sims 2 game with custom content. And it was a long time ago, but I'm still kind of, I guess, PTSD over it. I don't like using those terms, but it kind of is. So I kind of don't use CC because of that, even though I've heard it's gotten better. And it is tempting sometimes when I see some of the stuff. I'm a lot better at backing up my games now, too. That's the other thing. I never used to back up my games. Back in Sims 2 days, I just kind of hoped my computer worked, and it is so devastating when you have a whole neighborhood and it just goes away and you have to start completely over. It actually made me cry.